Hello everyone, it's Dutch Master and welcome to this second episode of the Building Tips series. Today I'll be talking about roofing and learning you some of my tricks when it comes to roofing and adding roofs to your house in The Sims 4. The roofing tool of The Sims 4 is very strong and you can actually do some very cool things with it. But I must say that roofing is quite hard in some parts. I often get comments about it, but I also have to say that roofing is a very important part of or important aspect of building, and it can actually either make or break a house. Like I explained in the previous part, which was actually about the shaping of the house, there are two building styles which are modern and traditional, and especially when it comes to roofing, it's very important that you know in which style you're building, because these styles have very different styles of roofing too, so when you're going to do the roofing, you have to know which style you're going for. A modern house can, for example, have a very simple roof or maybe even a flat roof, while a traditional house might have a very detailed roof. So that's something you have to think about before starting adding the roof, and also before making the shape, because the shaping is very important about regarding to the style too. So basically, as you can see, there are four types of roofs in The Sims 4, and there are also diagonal versions of these. Next to the real roofs, we of course have in The Sims 4 flat roofs too. Don't be afraid to use flat roofs. They can actually look pretty good, but it does make the shape of the walls even more important, because otherwise, if you use a flat roof and you have some very boring shaping of the house, it can actually make the house look very boring too, so think about that. Personally, if I want to have the feeling of a flat roof, I'd go for a flat roof and actually add this roof type above it, or on it actually, and change it in a way you see me doing right now. And I personally think that it gives the house a little bit more shape, and as you can see here, it just makes the house look a little bit better, or at least in my opinion. Of course, if you want to go for something modern, you can also just use this roof style and actually extend the roof without actually making the walls any longer. Unfortunately, we cannot delete the walls of the house yet, of the roof yet, as we could in the Sim 3, but hopefully that's a feature that's coming soon. If you're actually going for a flat roof, or at least a part that's flat, don't forget to add these roof addings, or at least that's what I call them. As you can see them over here, they are new in The Sims 4 and I personally think they're awesome. They make roofs look so much better. You also have them for the roofs itself, so not only for the flat parts but for the roofs itself too. And they're very cool. You can actually add them in different forms and shapes and colors. I personally think the second one looks best of the four, and the fourth one is very cool too, but it is kind of massive. So if you add that, I think it's only nice to add it on like a very modern house which has like only one roof part. And then it could actually look nice, but otherwise it's often too big. So think about that and just decide which roof adding to add. But definitely don't forget to add them, because they look so much better and they really make your house look so much more fancy actually. Just I think only a week after I'd started building in The Sims 4 when it had been released, I found something out and I actually built it in my sandstorm house. And that's actually that we don't have constraint floor elevation in The Sims 4, but there is actually a way in which you can actually use or do what a constraint floor elevation was used for, because constraint floor elevation was used to make half walls. And actually nowadays in The Sims 4 you can use roofs to actually give or create the feel of a half wall. As you can see here, you just add this roof type and you extend it like this and change it in this way, and then in that way you actually create the effect of a half wall. And I personally think that it looks pretty cool on houses like these. And yeah, you almost don't need a constraint floor elevation anymore. It is important though that you need quite some space to be able to do this, because of course a part of the roof moves into the house, and otherwise part of the roof just goes behind the rest of the house. So just think about that when you're adding this. So the next topic I want to cover is actually a traditional roofing, because this might seem a little bit more complicated than the roofing of modern houses, and that's probably because traditional houses often have like very detailed roofs with very many different parts. A flat roof on a traditional house doesn't always look that good, in my opinion at least, but there's one exception, and that's when you actually have like an entrance area or a balcony under it, as you can see here, because then it can actually look good. Especially when you have a curved foundation, because then there's no way to actually add a good roof. If you just have a normal rectangular shaped area above the entrance, you can just add a roof to, as you can see here. You just should think about what you want to have and what you think looks better. So yeah, those are just some tips. I personally think that flat roofs are normally not that good, but in that case that it can actually look pretty good too. One thing I often see being done wrong is actually the size of the area that a roof has to cover. Because if that area is too big, it will actually make the house look bad because the roofing is bad. Because the roof will have to be very big, and it's like you have a very big point in the middle of your house, and the shape is just not good looking, and then it will be a little bit too high to the roof. So this can be prevented by actually making good shape, especially for the second floor. That's important because that's often the main area where the roof will actually be added. If you would like to know more about the shaping of a house, check out the first part of this building tips series, which was about the shaping. The link will be in the description, or at least the playlist link maybe, because then you can also check out the other episodes of this series, which are not aligned yet by the time I'm recording, but anyways. Also, the last part I want to say is that if you want to make a modern house with a detailed roof, that's definitely possible too. I'd advise to add roofs like this then. I actually did that in the family's place, I think that's the house it was called. And it gives the house a very modern effect, but still a detailed feel, I think. Of course, nowadays in the Sims 4 it's finally possible to actually add different roof textures to the house, and yeah, that's very important too. Adding the roof textures is important when you're roofing, and especially for the style you're going for, because of course something like this, which is like asphalt, I think, or might look boring, but it is very modern actually. There's something like this. It's very like looking like a farm, so a little bit more traditional, and this can make it look a little bit more urban. So adding the right roof texture, I guess you could say, is very important too. And also you can add many like a chimney on the roof. You don't have to actually have a chimney inside to actually add a chimney on the roof, so think about that, because you can add as many chimneys on the roof as you want without having any fireplace in the house. Also, I personally think that adding these, which might look a little bit more industrial things, adding that to the house just makes the house look a little bit more realistic and a little bit more, yeah, for some reason in reality it might not look that good, you know. You would not want to have something like that on the roof of your house, but in The Sims 4 it actually makes it look a little bit more realistic, and a realistic house is kind of a better house actually. So think about that too when you're building or actually making the roof of the house. So this was actually the second part of the building tips series. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope it actually helped you, because roofing is definitely an important but a very hard part of building. So maybe if this helped you, that would be great. Please let me know in the comments if it helped you, and maybe please let me know some aspects you would like to learn more about regarding building too, because then I can maybe make another episode about that. The next episode will actually be about adding the wall paintings and the windows. That's quite an important part too. Just like roofing was actually. So yeah, that's what I will talk about in the next part. And as you can see, I'm really trying to in the end let you form your own house or create your own house, starting with the shape, then the roof, then the wall paintings. Guess what will be next? I'm not saying, but you will see in 2 episodes. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you back later.